Your Royal Highness, Lords, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hosts for the evening, Kate Humble and Tom Heap.
What a start to the evening. What a start. I feel like we've been completely upstaged already. Just by way of an introduction to our dramatic opening, that was a small glimpse of The Herds, which last year saw life-size puppet animals travel all the way from the Congo Basin to the Arctic Circle, symbolising their flight from climate disaster. But tonight, we are not talking about disasters. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my favourite night of the year. It is the 2026 Whitley Awards, and I'm delighted to be sharing the stage, as ever, with Tom Heap.
Well, thank you, and hello, everyone, and it's great to be back here and with you, Kate. And hello to all of those joining us on the live stream. And I should just say, with regard to The Herds, if you put, The Herds into a search engine and look at some of those films of those puppets on glaciers, those puppets in, suburbs in African cities, it is astounding, the sort of realism. And you felt it here, the real kind of feel of an actual animal. It is astounding. Anyway, if you would like to join our conversation online, please follow at Whitley Awards on social media and use the hashtag #Whitley Awards.
Now, Tom and I have been Whitley Fund for Nature ambassadors for many years because, I think I can speak for you as well.
Go for
Quite
it.
simply, it's brilliant. And we have seen firsthand what an extraordinary, positive and tangible impact the work of Whitley helps happen. WFN supports grassroots conservation leaders working alongside local communities on effective solutions for nature and for people. The charity provides a platform that combines funding, international visibility, and long-term support to accelerate conservation solutions, driving change on a global scale.
And since its founding, WFN has channeled £26 million to projects primarily in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. And figures are great, but never has the impact of such sums been greater. Together, Whitley Award winners have helped conserve more than 45 million hectares of habitat, spanning forests, freshwater, grasslands, mountains, oceans, at a time when protecting our planet has never been more important. And if you're wondering how much 45 million hectares is, that's about twice the size of the UK. So an extraordinary achievement. And much of that is down to the man who is going to start proceedings this evening. I would like to invite the founder of the Whitley Fund for Nature, Edward Whitley, to the stage.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed, Kate and Tom. You're so generous to host our award ceremony so many times. Nobody does it like you. Now, we're thrilled to have you all here to celebrate this year's wonderful winners. We're very close to our winners, and this direct connection is a vital part of how we do our work. Now, many of our previous award winners, they're all live streaming tonight, so wherever you're live streaming from, you are so welcome. Whatever time zone, whatever country, it's great to have your support. Now, in his acceptance speech last year, our Gold Award winner, Olivia Nungasimana, made an extraordinary telling point to me. He remarked that too often people assume that when you need to approach a conservation problem, you should approach it as a transaction, that local communities want a deal in order to change their behaviour. But then Olivia argued that very often local communities don't need conditions. They actually hold an unconditional love for the world around them that they're trying to protect. And it's this sense of unconditional love and unconditional action that I want to highlight tonight, because it runs very deep through both our winners and, of course, all of us here as donors. Now, one most courageous example was Steve Isaac. Steve and his wife Debbie and their children first started coming to our awards ceremony over 25 years ago with Debbie's parents, William and Valerie Brake. Now, their recognition of the importance of our work brought them back year after year, and their commitment spread across their family. The wider Brake family, now representing 4 generations, became an integral part of the Whitley Awards. And Steve wasn't going to let his diagnosis of motor neuron disease stop him coming from here. Now, in recent years, Steve was only able to communicate through moving his eyes. And undaunted, Steve would hold conversations with our winners, with the Princess Royal, and he was an unflinching supporter. And in one of the last years, Steve's wheelchair was so big it couldn't fit down the internal stairs here, so they had to go outside, around the corridor, around the pavement, and come in by the other entrance. And one year, that last year, I remember it was pouring with rain, and looking out through the windows of the hall, I saw the entire Brake family pushing and running alongside Steve's wheelchair like the start of a 10-man bobsleigh race, heading down the Cresta Run. It was the most magnificent sight. Now, Steve died just before Christmas, and I wanted to take this moment to pay tribute to his courage and to the courage shown by the wider Brake family, and to say thank you for providing us with such unconditional support, which encapsulates the support from all our donors. Thank you. And then in terms of unconditional love, the Whitley Fund for Nature has often been described as a large family by many of our donors, by many of our winners. And at the outset, Araminta and I started this work as a family charity, hence its very unimaginative name. Now, over more than 30 years, it's carried on as family and friends, and the friendship pools have got wider and wider. More and more people have joined our mission. And the mission is to support conservation leaders, to create a future where people and nature thrive together. And through these awards, we provide funding, training, and a spotlight to help winners succeed doing just that. Now, right from the beginning, my mother, Pen, she was known by many names actually, Ding, was a tremendous support, and many of you here knew her. So I want to thank so many of you who provided such generous support to Vivian, Jeremy, me and my family when our mother unexpectedly died last year. Now, our mother's philosophy was rooted in unconditional love for the world around her, and more than anything, she loved people who got involved and did something. Now, it helped that she herself could charm the birds from the trees, or in this instance, if you look very closely at that Whitley Fund for Nature cap she's wearing, she could even charm a mayfly. Now, her view was that you would never catch a fish unless you were actually fishing. Quite hard to argue with that. So it was always far better to get out there and fish rather than sit around and just talk about fishing. Now, mind you, catching a fish always helped, no matter what the size. So our mother loved the way that all our winners are so determined to get out there and make a difference. And I think that all of us as donors to the Whitley Awards share this same fierce, unconditional love for the work that's being done, and all of us here together want to support the winners who are getting out there and making such a huge difference. So thank you all for your generous, unconditional support. Your Royal Highness, thank you for providing such steadfast commitment, indeed unconditional support as our patron. Thank you to our fabulous Whitley Fund for Nature team and trustees, our Friends Committee and ambassadors, our judging panel, our screeners, and of course Kate and Tom. Thank you so much for being such amazing hosts. Finally, in terms of recognising the generosity of one of our donors, well, there's someone who responded immediately with both unconditional support and his own unbridled brand of enthusiasm. Now, almost 30 years ago, I wrote an out-of-the-blue letter to Sir David Attenborough, and I asked him to join our judging panel. I think we had 4 applications that year, so I was hoping it wouldn't be too strenuous for him. He didn't know that, of course, and then with supreme generosity, David immediately agreed. It was an extraordinary moment. Honestly, I felt like someone who'd just been knocking up a tennis ball with a friend such as Piers when Roger Federer comes around the corner and decides he's going to join in. Now, over the years, David's played many roles across the charity. He's narrated films for our winners. This is long, painstaking work, but this is where the magic really happens. He's come to fundraising dinners. He's conducted interviews for us. As I found out when he suddenly decided to interview me, he's a remarkably well-informed and, I have to say, unnervingly perceptive interviewer. Ma'am, you might have found the same. Now, David immediately understood how we could leverage our work, and he saw the global potential. He inspired us all to be rightfully ambitious. And equally, I think that in the pragmatic, sustainable work that our winners are doing, embedded as they are within their communities, that David saw the answers to some of the problems he had witnessed himself when making those television documentaries. Our winners were the missing part of the picture to protect life on Earth and to ensure that the blue planet really did stay blue. On his 90th birthday, 2016, our awards ceremony clashed and I assumed he'd be unable to join us. But there's nowhere I'd rather be, David said, and he came here and stood on the stage with our winners. So as well as working hard, David always took time to enjoy the moment. If you're wondering what we're laughing at in this photo, it's because Danny and I were teasing him about his phone. It was just so extraordinary that the world's greatest communicator should keep using this absolutely chronic mobile phone. So ahead of David's 100th birthday, we made a short film to celebrate his magnificent contribution to our charity and the inspiration that our winners and our donors have drawn from him. So happy birthdays to David, and thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Thank you.
The team has decided that given that this is a young male that has no name yet, we are going to name him David. Very big in the world, very strong in the presence of so many brains, very powerful because of the change that David has done around the world. Welcome to the world, David.
David's impact has been enormous. He's been part of WFN since its early days, as a trustee, judge, ceremony compere, and ambassador. With his three most precious gifts, his name, his time, and his voice, we've built a charity with a legacy which will last for many generations to come. And he's given huge confidence to our donors and our winners, motivating them to succeed often beyond their wildest dreams.
Sir David made nature popular, and that is a huge accomplishment. We learn from him how to use an emotional language to connect people's souls with nature. And we learn from him the power of conservation communication.
I learned that in spite of all his huge achievements over many decades, he was still humble enough to keep learning. That has really inspired me.
It's his joyful curiosity and his scientific rigor and deep empathy that have helped to translate the complexities of the natural world into stories that move people, that even get them to act.
Whitley Fund for Nature conservationists have helped shape over 200 national and international policies, and their work has led to the formal protection of 29 million hectares of land and sea.
Sir David has been a mentor, a visionary, a friend, and most importantly, a brilliant, powerful, consistent voice for nature.
Thank you, in particular for my case, for focusing on both the big things, but also the little things, all the wonderful little creatures who help keep these fantastic ecosystems going.
I have followed Sir David's career since my early childhood. His work has inspired me all my life. Today, we're here thanks to him. This cave is here thanks to him. His inspiration has made me strive to be like him.
Doing community work and conservation is a long journey to really make an impact. My work over 2 decades sometimes drains me to think there is so much to do and yet so little time. And Sir David is a reminder that I should press on to continue.
Sir David's influence has run like a quiet thread through my childhood, through my work, and now through my son's life and imagination. Few people are able to provide such leadership, and fewer still with such grace and humility.
Hello, I've just been seeing you.
Hi.
A lovely
nice
film.
To meet you. Thank you.
The climax is just with that baby is so perfect. It really makes the heart, get you in the heart. Beautiful, wonderful.
Here are my real babies.
Hi.
How
are you? Oh, how nice.
Today we celebrate not just a milestone, but a legacy. Over the past 25 years, David's shared commitment to WFN, alongside our patron, the Princess Royal, has helped to strengthen its global reach.
He's made such an impact, and I'm sure his experience and it made a huge difference to so many people being able to say it's worth trying. And I hope that many of our winners took inspiration from that, because my goodness, they made a difference.
To me, he's the voice of hope. He's the voice of reason. He's the voice of optimism. We go through a lot of challenges here in northern Kenya protecting lions. But then when you hear Sir David, you have a smile on your face, you have hope, and that's what keeps you going.
For me, his work has not simply been educational. It has been transformative. It has shaped my understanding of nature, my respect for biodiversity, and my decision to pursue a career in conservation. He has shown that protecting nature is not optional. It is a moral responsibility. My sincere thanks, Sir David, for inspiring all of us to take action.
So David, on behalf of the Whitley Fund for Nature, on behalf of our donors, on behalf of our winners, on behalf of all those creatures, great and small, that you've helped us save, we'd like to wish you a very happy 100th birthday.
I'm proud to be a trustee of the Whitley Fund for Nature, and I've met many award winners. Perhaps the greatest legacy of the charity is the growing network of winners themselves. They have a wealth of experience between them and actively support and promote each other's work. Whitley Award winners are working to protect an extraordinarily diverse range of habitats, from rainforest to deserts, from mountain ranges to caves, and from coral reefs to open ocean. But we have to act now. The world won't wait.
Smile to the camera, David. Long live. Here you go.
I suspect every single one of us in this room are probably in this room because of Sir David Attenborough. Very happy birthday to him, and thank you, as ever, Edward.
Well, tonight's Whitley Award winners will each receive £50,000 in project funding to protect threatened wildlife and habitats in their home countries. In addition, the winners will meet with donors, NGO representatives, their country's ambassadors, and they will receive media and communications training and are interviewed by the press to help them unlock further opportunities.
And this evening is about shining a spotlight, including through the films that you'll see made by Silverback Films, thanks to our fellow ambassador, Alistair Fothergill. Thank you, Alistair. And on that note, we're thrilled to introduce tonight's new cohort of Whitley Award winners, selected from a record number of nearly 300 applications. Got a bit more than 4.
Very good. So it's time for the first Whitley Award winner of the evening, and that is Moreangels Mbizah, who is promoting human-lion coexistence in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe's lower Zambezi Valley, lion populations are under threat. Over 90% of their historic range across Africa has been lost in recent years.
It is important to protect lions because they are keystone species. They play a critical role in the maintenance of a healthy ecosystem.
2026 Whitley Award winner Moreangels Mbizah is the founder of Wildlife Conservation Action. She heads up a team passionate about restoring the lion population. Attacks on livestock can have devastating effects on livelihoods and food security. This conflict worsens the relationship between humans and wildlife, leading to retaliatory killings of lions.
We have losses on both sides. People lose and wildlife loses. And so with coexistence, what we are trying to do is reduce these costs and ensuring that people and lions can live and share the same space.
Central to Moreangels' approach is the Community Guardians program, with members trained to reduce and respond to human-lion conflict.
The community guardians are the bedrock of our organization. They are young men and women who have a deep connection to the land. Being a woman in conservation is a challenge. Sometimes you are seen as less important, or maybe even your voice is sometimes not considered.
Moreangels believes that participation in the program is especially crucial for young women, allowing them to pursue careers in wildlife conservation, whilst also acting as role models for future generations.
The communities have welcomed our projects. They have seen the impact the project has on their livelihoods and on their lives. Their livestock are now safer because they are being kept overnight in protective enclosures like the mobile bomas. Their goats and other small stock are being protected in elevated kraals, and they are also safe themselves because of the knowledge that they have been given by the community guardians.
With up to a 98% reduction in conflict incidents, coexistence is becoming a reality, and Moreangels is ready to scale up. The Whitley Award will allow Moreangels and her team to expand into 3 new hotspots, training more community guardians to use specialist equipment which detects lions before they attack. Their work will allow the safe movement of lions between protected areas.
We are hoping that in the next coming years, the lion population will start to recover and will start to disperse across the landscape.
Sometimes it takes just one moment for your life to change forever. I was living my dream in the African savannah, tracking lions every day. I was building my career as a lion conservationist. Some even called me the Lion Lady. I truly believed I was on the right path to making a difference. But one day, everything changed. On the morning of April 4th, 2014, we tracked a 12-year-old male lion named Goose. He had left Hwange National Park and was moving toward a nearby village. When we found him, we were met with a heartbreaking scene. Goose had killed a 7-year-old boy. His name was Elton. We called the wildlife authorities. There was no choice. They had to put Goose down. That moment changed everything for me. I realized that protecting lions inside the park means very little if we were not also protecting the people living alongside them. That's when the idea for my organization was born. Today, our work at Wildlife Conservation Action spans an area the size of Wales and is one of Africa's most biodiverse landscapes. And at the heart of everything we do are the communities who live with wildlife every single day. These Whitley Awards will allow us to scale our work, supporting more communities in Zimbabwe to live safely alongside lions. Protecting their lives and livelihoods ultimately protects lions too. We have learned that coexistence is possible, but it takes all of us. And it must be led by the communities who live this reality. Because when people are safe, wildlife can thrive. Thank you.
I've said to a lot of you this evening, and I say it to everybody when I say that I'm the host of these awards, along with Tom. And I always say it's one of the most humbling and uplifting and inspiring evenings ever. And Moreangels, you have just epitomised that. And so will our next winner, because our next award goes to Parveen Shaikh, who is conserving riverine birds with the help of local communities in India.
Skimmers are very striking birds. It's a very peaceful sighting to see them skimming on the surface of water and catching fishes.
Indian skimmers nest on the safety of sandbar islands, like those found here on the River Chambal. But now they're extinct in many countries, and their recent declines in India have been a worrying mystery. 2026 Whitley Award winner Parveen Shaikh is an ornithologist at the Bombay Natural History Society.
We didn't know about what's actually affecting their nest survival, and that's where I saw a gap.
The Chambal in northern India is home to the largest known breeding population left in the world, and Parveen's research revealed the many threats they face. Upstream dams and irrigation have depleted water levels, and the once safe sandbar islands are now exposed. Free-ranging dogs, wandering cattle, and illegal sand mining are all destroying colonies.
I started monitoring nesting colonies in 2017 at Chambal, but one day 2 dogs had predated the entire nesting colony. There were only 2 eggs that survived.
Parveen and her team decided to step in. They guarded those last 2 eggs 24/7 for weeks.
Seeing the chicks fledge, I think, was the most satisfactory thing. We realized that we could intervene and we could protect these birds.
She began recruiting local people to become nest guardians who provide round-the-clock protection during the breeding season.
Without them, it's completely impossible to protect these nesting colonies.
Her team now supports over 30 nest guardians, providing seasonal jobs for rural communities and a sanctuary for the wildlife of the sandbars. Thanks to their work, the skimmer population on the Chambal has more than doubled.
My big ambition for the Whitley Award is to scale up this community-led river conservation program and to see that Indian skimmers are no more on brink.
Parveen will use her Whitley Award to increase nest protection on the Chambal and a new key site, to engage stakeholders with the conservation of riverine wildlife and freshwater habitats, and ultimately, to empower local people to become long-term champions of their rivers.
Good evening. I come from the Chambal River in India, often called a cursed river, flowing through a landscape once known as the Badlands. But for me, it is a place of resilience and hope. It is because of the bandits who once lived here that this river remained untouched, wild, and protected from all the development. I still remember the first time I saw an Indian skimmer, flying low over the water, its beak gently slicing the surface. It was so precise, so fragile, that I could not look away. In that moment, I realized how easily something so beautiful could disappear. And yet, what has stayed with me most over the years is not just that fear, but a small moment of hope. Watching those tiny chicks taking their first flight from the eggs that we protected, that was the moment I knew this species still has a chance. This journey has not been easy. The river changes every season. Nests are fragile and threats are constant. But one thing has become very clear: communities need to be part of the solution. In Chambal, local communities are not just participants, they are protectors. Nest guardians are stepping forward to defend not just a species, but an entire river system. This work belongs to them as much as it does to me and my team. Receiving the Whitley Award gives us a chance to strengthen these communities, protect more nests, and secure a future for the Indian skimmer. And perhaps, in protecting this river, we are also protecting something far more fragile, our connection to the wild. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Parveen. Absolutely beautiful birds. And that message about the importance of community is just going to be a rising chorus throughout this evening. That's where the power lies. Now, let's hear from Barkha Subba, who is protecting the Himalayan salamander and its freshwater habitat.
When a species is elusive, it's sometimes easy to overlook. But being overlooked is dangerous. It means it could quietly disappear. Darjeeling in northeast India is home to the Himalayan mountains, expansive tea plantations, and a creature few people ever see: the Himalayan salamander.
Imagine a small dragon, not flying but swimming in a quiet mountain pond.
These rare amphibians go largely unnoticed, and that's exactly what's putting them at risk. Encroaching agriculture and construction on their wetland habitats have made their world smaller. And as the ponds and the forests they depend on disappear, the Himalayan salamanders are being pushed to the brink. But their story is changing. 2026 Whitley Award winner Barkha Subba is a conservation scientist working to protect them.
I'm obsessed with Himalayan salamanders, no question about it. My family and friends can vouch for that. But when you spend so many years watching a species struggle and survive, this obsession turns into responsibility.
With her team, the Federation of Societies for Environmental Protection, Barkha is bringing the salamander's wetlands back to life. Clearing invasive plants, restoring breeding ponds, and protecting the other fragile places salamanders return to each year. Barkha also intends to bring the salamanders out of the shadows by giving them some much-needed publicity. Working with local communities, she is promoting sustainable land use and eco-friendly tourism, as well as community monitoring of the species.
I've heard people say, this is our salamander and we must protect them.
Because conservation only works when people are part of the story. With the Whitley Award, Barkha and her team will scale up their community stewardship model, restoring 7 key breeding sites and raising awareness while also working with partners to develop an official conservation action plan for the species. Together, they will be protecting these fragile ecosystems that both people and wildlife rely on.
My hopes for this project is healthy wetlands and safe habitats for the Himalayan salamander, while ensuring that the community benefits from protecting them. And I sincerely hope that one day the Himalayan salamanders won't need me anymore.
It's a little bit high for me. Sorry. Namaste. Himalayan salamander is a species I admire the most, not because of its speed, strength, or good looks, but because of its resilience. And it also gives me tremendous joy to know that Sir David Attenborough's first pet was a fire salamander. I'm sorry. Salamanders are older than the Himalaya. They have survived many extinctions over the last 200 million years. And yet today, they are on the brink. And without any effort, we might lose them within our lifetime. The thing that moves me most about the Himalayan salamander is its memory. It returns to the very place it was born year after year to breed and to lay eggs. Imagine coming back after a long, harsh winter, trusting that home will still be there. What happens when that place is gone, destroyed? It is this deep bond to home that makes this species incredibly vulnerable. If that one wetland disappears, they simply don't choose another. I know these are difficult times, and sometimes we feel powerless. But as ecologist Eli Knapp reminds us, to solve a problem, one first has to understand it. That can take a little work, a bit of focus, and rolling up of sleeves. The best part? You can leave your trousers on. I hope this moment encourages stronger support from all those in positions of power, the policymakers and the forest department. The Himalayan salamander needs all of us to protect its home. For me, as a woman belonging to indigenous mountain community, winning a Whitley Award means both recognition of years of work on conservation and opportunity to spread this work across the Himalayan landscape. But above all, for me, my team, and the people who have stood by us, this award means hope and strength. Hope to usher in a better tomorrow for the Himalayan salamander, mountain wetlands, and its people, and strength to make that tomorrow happen. Thank you.
Barkha, I think there are about 850 people in this room, and the Himalayan salamander has just got 850 new fans. Our next winner is Issah Seidu, who is working with fishers in Ghana to prevent the extinction of the aptly named guitarfish.
In Ghana, the ocean sustains the lives of coastal communities. But beneath these waters, something ancient is disappearing. Once abundant, guitarfish are now on the brink of extinction. Losing these predators will impact the balance of life here. 2026 Whitley Award winner Issah Seidu leads Aqualife Conservancy and serves as co-chair of the IUCN Shark Specialist Group for Africa.
My project is a community-based marine conservation initiative that will work closely with both artisanal and semi-industrial fishing communities to generate data and monitor marine habitats
By identifying the risk to critically endangered species like the guitarfish, Issah aims to reverse this worrying trend. Just off the coast, industrial fishing fleets are depleting fish stocks. With fewer fish to catch, many small-scale fishers now actively target endangered sharks and guitarfish for their valuable meat and fins. In Ghana, there is no marine management plan and little support for the communities who depend on the sea. Issah's focus is to educate locals on safe release practices and sustainable fishing. His achievements include training fishers to collect scientific data and in the GPS mapping of coastal habitats, critical for the survival of guitarfish. Aqualife also supports alternative livelihoods which provide a reliable source of income with low environmental impact.
Local communities are not just beneficiaries of conservation. They are partners, decision makers, as well as key to our success.
The Whitley Award will allow Issah's work to expand, raising awareness and upskilling more fishers to support the conservation effort and help save the guitarfish. Long-term, Issah's goal is to establish Ghana's first locally managed marine area.
From my heart, I want to say that the oceans and the incredible creatures like the sharks, rays, guitarfish that live in them need our care now more than ever. Conservation is not just about science. It's about people, as well as the communities and the future we leave for the next generation.
Thank you very much. As a young man, I dreamed of becoming an army officer. However, I am standing in front of you today because I was not selected. I was told that men of my height cannot join the army. It was a difficult moment for me, but on my journey back home, I made a life-defining decision to pursue wildlife conservation. Because people of my height can't become conservationists. Thank you. Along the way, I identified a critical gap in marine conservation, specifically in the protection of guitarfish. Ghana's coastline, where I began my journey as a guitarfish conservationist 8 years ago, is more than a place. It is life, culture, and the survival for millions of people. I have seen how deeply communities depend on the sea and how vulnerable this relationship has become as fish stocks increasingly decline. Let me tell you, starting this work was not easy. For the first 6 months, we faced resistance, sometimes even hostility and aggression from fishers. These fishers feared that our work would take away their income. What started with a handful of fishers is now building into a collective effort driven by inspiration, trust, and a shared commitment to sustaining our marine resources. Despite being among the most threatened marine species globally, guitarfish largely remain invisible in research, policy making, as well as public awareness. Working with guitarfish has shown me how quickly a species can decline when it is highly undervalued and poorly understood. Winning the Whitley Award recognizes years of perseverance and the collective effort of my team, as well as my mentors and the communities we work with. I want to inspire future marine conservationists to be bold, collaborative, committed, and persistent. The challenges are real, but so are the opportunities to create lasting change. Thank you.
Thank you, Issah. All I can say is if you didn't get into the army, it must be an army of giants in Ghana, really. And talk about learning. I never knew about the guitar fish, so I'm really intrigued to learn about that. And surely you can get support from some of those famous axemen, as they're called out there. Someone get him Brian May's number immediately. He'll give him a penny or two, I'm sure. Very good. Next, we have Marina Kameni, whose project is partnering with farmers to safeguard Cameroon's amphibians.
Like an island in the sky, the volcanic peaks of Mount Manenguba in Cameroon are a refuge for over 100 species of frog. Many critically endangered and found nowhere else on Earth. The fertile soil that supports this unique wildlife is also important for farmers. But practices like slash and burn, livestock grazing and chemical pesticides have put this key conservation area under threat and led to a 70% decline in the frog population over the past 25 years. 2026 Whitley Award winner Marina Kameni and her NGO Heap Cameroon are addressing the problem with targeted projects.
Frog and Farmers is a project that comes from my heart. It's important for us to work in that area with farmers because the forest belongs to them.
For the local Bakosi people, Mount Manenguba is sacred, and Marina realized that to protect the frogs, she needed to work closely with community.
The elders told me, we don't even know what you guys are doing in our forest. They said, you guys want to save forest, but you don't think about us. So if you want to have our benediction, we need to treat our kids here.
In response, Marina set up the Frogs and Kids project.
Today, I'm more proud of Frog and Kids project, where we train kids about what is amphibian conservation.
So far, Marina and her team have worked with more than 1,500 children. This next generation now acts as field ambassadors, protecting breeding sites and reporting frog sightings. Heap Cameroon has also provided livelihood training to over 200 households to reduce habitat pressure while boosting incomes. With her Whitley Award, Marina and her team will train more farmers in sustainable practices whilst restoring vital habitat and advocating for a 500-hectare expansion to Cameroon's first protected area for amphibians.
I encourage leaders in the world to work with communities in any conservation project, to think about their needs, mix it with the needs in conservation, and then till we go much better in conservation.
Marina's message is one of hope for all those who share this precious sky island.
Now, unfortunately, Marina can't be with us in person tonight, but I am hoping that we can go live to Cameroon so she can give her acceptance speech. Marina.
Hi, Marina. Hey. Congratulations on winning the Whitley Award. We're all cheering you on here. Please go ahead and let's hear the speech.
Thank you. Hello, live from Cameroon. The last child in the family, like me, is one everyone loves and cherish, even if the child is stubborn. I still remember how I love, cherish and play with animals while all my parents, my family members, were scared of them. I never knew that this would be my passion and my lifelong work. I was always curious to understand the animal world through movie, cartoon, and be out in the nature. Curiously, I wanted to be a pilot. But after I wasn't selected to do mathematics at the university, I decided to concentrate myself in zoology. At that time, I was thinking about conserving big animals such as lion, elephant, chimps, and so on. But I fell in love with epitofauna, that means the study of amphibian and reptile, when I was doing my master in Madagascar. And I convinced myself that when returning in Cameroon, I will follow that dream. I still remember the reaction of my parents when they first saw a picture of me with snake. It wasn't easy at all, and I faced many challenges. As a woman, my lecturer didn't trust me enough to do such difficult fieldwork in 3 mountains, all part of Cameroon volcanic line. And also, I was the first woman in Cameroon to work on reptile. There was no model for what I was doing. The community also was so surprised about what I was doing there. But at the end of my PhD, they adopted me, and Mount Manengouba became my second home. Although if Manengouba is the most important biodiversity hotspot in Central Africa, it was the love of community that kept me there. We can't succeed in conservation without farmers. They are all our heroes. Saving species and habitat also means protecting the humans that live there too, by helping them to do sustainable agriculture and reduce threat to nature. I would like then to thank my whole team, my mentors, my advisor, my founders, and Whitney for Nature for trusting us and making this dream with farmers possible. And don't forget, this youngest child is still stubborn. Thank you.
Oh, thank you to Marina. It's such a shame she couldn't be here. We're hoping that she might come next year, but she will get her award, I can assure you. Now, our next Whitley Award is, well, it's a bit of a surprise for the donor from her family. Lynn Shears and her late husband Trevor are some of WFN's longest-standing supporters, and over the years have helped champion conservation leaders across the world, enabling extraordinary work that protects wildlife and supports communities. They have given so generously every year, but this year, the Shears Foundation has increased their donation to also sponsor an award. And Lynn, I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. The impact your support has had will never fade. It lives on in every project you've helped nurture, every leader you've believed in, and every future you've helped protect. That is something remarkable. It is a legacy that you and Trevor should be truly proud of. So now let's hear from their winner and our last Whitley Award winner of the evening, Paola Sangolki, who is bringing the Galapagos petrel back from the brink of extinction.
The Galapagos Islands, symbols of evolution and cradles of biodiversity, with a cast of well-known characters. This is the place that 2026 Whitley Award winner Paola Sangolki calls home.
Since I was a little girl, I grew up surrounded by lava rocks, sand, many different species of animals. I definitely developed a very strong connection with nature.
Over the last few years, Paola has been focused on a bird which hides away in the hills and lives in dark caves and burrows.
Aquí hay uno.
The critically endangered Galapagos petrel.
The Galapagos petrel amazes me because of its resilience and its navigation ability. Even though they are endemic species of the Galapagos Island, they travel hundreds of miles outside the archipelago, across the vast Pacific Ocean, and they come back to the islands for one single reason, for nesting.
The petrels have not had an easy time. At sea, climate change makes it hard to find food. And on land, their nests are under attack by invasive predators and expanding farmland. Since the 70s, the petrel population has plummeted by more than 85%. Paola and the Hokotoko Conservation Foundation are building a coalition with other conservation groups and the Galapagos National Park Directorate to reverse this deadly trend. Many petrel nests are on private farmland, something only recently recorded. Camera traps were used to reveal their hidden lives. And by tracking birds across the ocean, we now understand what they need to survive. As a result of Paola's work, the number of chicks fledging increased tenfold in just 1 year.
Seeing a fledgling and knowing that it has more probabilities of survival than the year before is just priceless.
With the support from the Whitley Award, Paola will expand her project, working with farmers, raising awareness in local schools, tackling invasive predators, and ultimately protecting more nests. If these birds can be brought back from the edge, it would be an incredible achievement for those working on the project.
I hope that local community feels a stronger connection with these species because ultimately the future of the Galapagos petrel depends on all of us. Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite you all to think of a moment when you feel truly alive. Chances are, and I'm pretty sure, that nature was there with you. I come from the Galapagos Islands, the place I get to call home, where I learned from a very young age that we are part of nature, not separate from it. Galapagos is a place where nature literally sits on your doorstep, and it's not scared of humans. There is so much incredible biodiversity there that never ceases to amaze me. I still remember the very first time I saw a hammerhead shark while snorkeling with my dad. As I grew up and began to understand that this is rare in many places, it inspired me to devote my life in protecting it as a way of giving back to nature for all it has given me, and so that future generations can wonder and experience the same incredible experiences I've had. What brings me here tonight is the Galapagos petrel, a bird you find only in the Galapagos, which soars thousands of kilometers across the ocean before returning to our islands every year only for nesting. Long before humans first arrived on the islands, petrels were already circling above them, and today they are critically endangered. Thanks to the Whitley Award, we will restore Galapagos petrel habitats, working hand in hand with local communities, proving that conservation is not a separate sector, but a shared responsibility. I'm deeply humbled and honored to receive the Whitley Award, not only on my own behalf, but as a reflection of the collective effort of all the incredible people I work with every day: farmers, fishers, park rangers, and my whole team at the Hokotoko Conservation Foundation, all committed to finding solutions together. Just as the petrel reminds us that ecosystems are connected, the ocean reminds us we are all connected by the one ocean we share in the only one planet
blue planet we share, and its protection ultimately depends on all of us. Gracias. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Paola. And that statistic of a tenfold increase in fledgling in 1 year just shows the effectiveness of action from smart people like yourself. Well, congratulations to all our 2026 Whitley Award winners. What an inspiring group of conservationists and a real team and community effort behind every project. Let's hear it for all of them.
It's time to hand out the trophies to this year's winners, so please welcome on stage to present the 2026 awards, Patron of the Whitley Fund for Nature, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal.
Our first award this evening is the Whitley Award donated by Inigo Insurance. And I just have to say that this name sings, especially if you're called Heap. And the winner is Moreangels Mbizah.
The next Whitley Award is donated by the Corcoran Foundation, and the winner is Parveen Shaikh.
The following award is the Whitley Award donated by the William Brake Foundation, and the winner is Barkha Subba.
The fourth award is the Whitley Award donated by the Frank Brake Charitable Trust, and the winner is Issah Seidu.
Our next award is the Whitley Award donated by the Hempel Foundation, and the winner is Marina Kameni. Now, and we are quite sure that she is cheering at home with all of us.
And our final 2026 award is the Whitley Award donated by the Shears Foundation, and the winner is Paola Sangolki. So a very, very well done to all our winners. Receiving a Whitley Award is just the start of the journey. Winners join a network of over 230 conservationists in 84 countries who can benefit from further continuation funding grants, peer support and training, which is all designed to sustainably scale their impact for the long term. And in 2025 alone, WFN funded projects benefiting 60 critically endangered and endangered species and 1,300 people through sustainable livelihoods. Funding has enabled winners to tackle threats to wildlife and for species populations to recover. For many, receiving a Whitley Award marks a turning point, bringing not only recognition, but a platform for long-term growth and influence. And this is embodied in our Gold Award winners.
Well, with that in mind, let's hear from this year's Gold Award winner. The Gold Award represents the pinnacle of the WFN journey, worth £120,000 in project funding and donated by Anne Rees and the Friends of WFN. The Gold Award goes to a member of the winner network who is an international advocate for conservation. Together with their team, the Gold Award winner has achieved remarkable results for nature and for people. Let's see who's receiving this year's top prize.
The Loisa ecosystem in northern Sumatra, one of the world's last great rainforests, home to a kaleidoscope of creatures, and to over 4 million people who rely on the clean water it provides. But the future of this vital habitat is at risk. 2026 Whitley Gold Award winner Fawizah Farhan is leading the efforts to protect Loisa. As a young woman, she saw these forests disappearing, with logging, mining and oil palm cutting through pristine habitat.
Sumatra have lost majority of its rainforest, but Loisa spans across 2.7 million hectares of relatively intact rainforest. And it's the last place on Earth where the critically endangered Sumatran megafauna, the tiger, the elephant, the rhino, and the orangutan, still coexist together in the wild.
In 2016, Fawizah became a Whitley Award winner. This helped her environmental organisation Haka gain global recognition for their conservation work. Haka works to safeguard Loisa by empowering its citizens to challenge plans to open it to development, and also by training hundreds of women as forest guardians and paralegals. Together, they have taken on some of the most powerful interests in Indonesia and won. A healthy rainforest acts like a natural sponge. Water is absorbed gradually and released steadily. But when forest is degraded, this natural process is disrupted. By protecting and restoring the forest, Haka and the Guardians were making a real difference. But then, in late 2025, everything changed.
Over the past 48 hours, Aceh have been struck by something no one expected. Cyclone Senyar made landfall overnight on the 26th of November without warning, bringing intense flood and landslides. A state of emergency in Aceh have now been declared. Please stand with us. Aceh needs immediate help, and so do the Guardians who protect its people, forests and wildlife every day. Thank you.
When Cyclone Senyar struck Aceh, vulnerable watersheds within the Loisa landscape failed to buffer the extreme rainfall.
We have been warning about the impact of deforestation to disasters like this for years. We know that we could link deforestation that happened 30, 40 years ago to the impact of floods and disasters today. I cried so much that week. I cried I cried out of the frustration of the response of the government, the lack of it. Cyclone Seidu forced our conservation organization to become a humanitarian response.
Today, Mbizah is turning disaster into structural reform. With the Gold Award, Haka will track forest loss and watershed damage while supporting humanitarian recovery, using drones and geospatial mapping to link upstream land use to downstream floods, providing the evidence for strong spatial planning and policy change, and ensuring community voices help shape the future of forest conservation.
Winning the Gold Award will show the communities that they are not alone in this. I'm just a small part in these big ecosystems, but I feel like there's so much that we could do. I dream of a future where our relationship in nature is governed by the understanding that us and nature are one.
Your Royal Highness, fellow Whitley Award winners, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly a decade ago, the Whitley Award took a chance on me. A young woman from Aceh, just 4 years into her conservation journey, trying to protect a vast and irreplaceable landscape, the Loiser ecosystem in Sumatra, Indonesia. At that time, we came to the Whitley Fund for Nature with a bold and perhaps unconventional ask: to file a citizen lawsuit against our own government in defense of all forests. Since then, the journey has been anything but linear. Like many in conservation, we have lived through its full spectrum. Losses that humbled us, and victories that sustain us. We lost our court case, but in that loss, we gained something deeper: trust and grassroots support. Together with communities, we halted a geothermal project that threatened the last habitats of critically endangered Sumatran rhino. We stopped a large hydro dam that would have submerged over 4,000 hectares of elephant habitats. And perhaps, most importantly, we invested in people, training and supporting hundreds of community paralegals and forest patrol teams, trusting that those who live closest to the forest are also its strongest defenders. But conservation is never just about protecting landscapes. It is about living with them, and sometimes surviving them. Cyclone Seidu taught us that. I began working in conservation for simple reasons: because I love wildlife, and because I watch a little bit too much of BBC nature documentaries. But I stayed in conservation because I witnessed something far more profound: the inseparable relationship between people and the ecosystems they depend on. Disasters made that relationship undeniable. In those weeks, our roles changed overnight. But in that moment, we learned that something that continues to shape our work. We cannot separate conservation from human well-being. They are one and the same. None of this work is ever done alone. And if I'm completely honest, it has often felt uncomfortable for me to stand on a stage like this, receiving recognition that carries my name, when the reality is the work is deeply collective. But Whitley Awards have always understood that. So tonight, I would like to share the moment with the people who have built this work with me from the very beginning. I would like to invite my co-founder, Badrul Irfan, along with Irham and Lukman, to join me on stage. They represent the many individuals and communities who continue to protect the Loiser ecosystem every single day. Now, I have to tell you that Badrul speaks 4 languages, but none of that is English. He is about to give the blessing in the language of Aceh and the language of Gayo, and these are the language of the Loiser ecosystem.
Tabi muloni ke langit urum bintang ulun. Salam Aceh, salam ke ama ina, saudara-saudaraku. Penghargaannya ke Ban Mandum urang Aceh yang ka berjuang melestarikan utun Aceh. Menjaga utun warisan kenebah endatu getanya. Enti tebangi utun jagai pucuk ni air nai. Jaga utun pelindung udip. Kru semangat urang Aceh. Berizin, terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Told you to fill it in here. Thank you and congratulations to Fawiza and her team at Haka. And I would like to welcome back on stage the patron of WFN, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, to give you your awards. And I'd now like to invite the Princess Royal to say a few words.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Not for the first time, I feel that I'm a little de trop here. You've heard everything that you could possibly want to hear, and in a much more articulate way than I can manage. But can I just say, not just congratulations, but thank you to the new Whitley Award winners, because yes, there have been many more applications than we've had before, but they all represent a quite astonishing degree of success in their fields. And I thank you, and congratulations are essential. They're individuals, but they're teams, aren't they? And they work in some of the most biodiverse, but vulnerable places. And all of them, they demonstrate that truly inspiring commitment of protecting wildlife, but also the habitats through the community-led programs and solutions And that is what we're really recognizing, that it is a joined-up approach which is rare in this day and age. So thank you. We also recognize their tenacity, as well as the dedication that they have employed, because that's what gets us motivated. You've heard about their securing not just those individual species and habitats, but how it affects a much wider environment, like the planet, probably, and its future. But above all, we need to learn from these highly effective and locally led solutions. We have listened to them. We need to listen and hear properly and support them. And in that, we can thank Whitley's Fund for Nature for finding them in the first place. And I think, giving them the confidence to come forward. So this year's cohort and their achievements, and we welcome them to the global network. And as you've heard, over 230 alumni now working together, and that's across 84 countries. Little bit by bit, we've extended that across the globe. And they're all now working together and sharing that knowledge and the support that they've had from to each other. And it's working as never before. And each of them have created the potential of that growing network. And that network only increases the impact and the effect of these individual winners. I rather hope that this next generation of conservation leaders feels that the global community is standing alongside them as they return home to continue their work, because I hope that's too what the network can achieve. We very much thank them for their stories, but we recognize the impact of Whitley Fund for Nature as a whole. And I hope that will inspire everybody who's here tonight, that we can all make a difference, not least of all if we pick the right individuals as leaders and the right subjects to support. They talk about responsibility. We can't all have that responsibility, but it is a responsibility to, I think, support those that are prepared to accept that. And we can stand behind the locally led solutions like those we've heard tonight. The Whitley Award winners remain our greatest inspiration. They have modest resources. What they've achieved is truly remarkable. And imagine what could happen if we can match their determination with some of the funding and support that we can create here. I don't think we could celebrate tonight without the continued commitment of our donors and sponsors and supporters. They have made the difference that otherwise these conservationists would find so difficult to continue with their work. And on that basis, I'm delighted that we have many new guests here tonight who are joining our long-term and extremely generous supporters who have allowed us to get to this stage when we can recognize that network over 84 countries. Thank you to all of you, because none of this would have been possible. None of these winners would be possible without that level of support. I've been patron quite a long time, I'm sorry to say, but I recognize that those who've supported us over the years, I mean, their commitment is really extraordinary to this concept. Some of you right at the beginning of this concept, and I hope you are encouraged by what you've seen highlighted this evening about the way in which people have responded to our ability to provide that support and understanding. And I hope it is about understanding that relationship that gives these individuals more scope to make a difference. Understanding that it is a people relationship, that they have to work with the people in order to make this possible. And it's also nice to know that, well, maybe not for a Whitley Fund at the moment, but it is nice that there are a lot more out there who are waiting for their chance to be seen to make that difference. And while this definitely remains one of the most efficient and effective charities working to protect the environment, we can recognise too that Whitley Fund for Nature's impact has grown hugely over 33 years and now channels over £26 million to conservationists. We are working, we hope, to help our conservationists when they need it most, that we can increase our support, our funding, and the reach of their work. This is not only because our funders and our donors have made that possible. They remain at our side and give us the confidence to be ambitious. The Whitley Award winners and their teams, they're the ones on the ground bringing about change for nature and for us all in the most challenging of circumstances, and bringing the populations with them to understand the benefits to all. I hope we can ensure that they have everything they need to succeed. In difficult times, it's been often difficult to find good news anywhere. Here you can. I've heard the word used quite often this evening already as uplifting, and I think that's true, because we can gain so much from the example and the encouragement of the success of our winners. But what it really gives us is realistic hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness, for your unfailing support and always wonderful, inspiring and uplifting words. And congratulations again to our 2026 Whitley awardees. Thank you for everything that you do and everything that you're going to go on to do. Thanks partly to our wonderful donors who make the work of WFN possible. As tonight's winners have demonstrated, by channeling support to those best placed to lead solutions, we can address the challenges facing our natural world. Looking ahead, we want to do all we can for conservationists. So, echoing the Princess Royal's words, if you are able to continue or deepen your support of the charity, we warmly invite you to do so that together we can ensure that the next generation inherits a planet where people and nature thrive together.
Well, thank you everyone for coming and joining us this evening. After the royal party depart, please do join us upstairs here for the reception. But for now, from Kate and me and the Whitley Fund for Nature team here, thank you so much.